Hello and welcome to Shadow Gaming. My name is Shadowwake, also known as Shadow, and this is the start of a Let's Play series through Dragon Age Inquisition, the third in the instalment of the Dragon Age series made by BioWare. In this game is one of my favourites of the three. It's got great graphics. They've improved it considerably since the last two games, because obviously we're now on high definition consoles. I am playing this on a console. I'm playing this on the Xbox One. I have tried playing the previous games on the PC and struggled with it, mainly because it is a console port, so the PC controls don't quite work very well, even with a controller. But for this game I have got the Xbox One. Previous games were played on the 360, so I will be showing you this version of it. This game is kind of an amalgamation of the best bits of 1 and 2 as requested by the fans. They did a delightful thing and actually listened to the fan responses and developed the new game based on it, which was a relief, shall we say. It does have its flaws, but in the main it is a fantastic joining of the best elements of the previous Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. In this first sequence you can see the Templars on the right hand side and the Mages on the left, all wandering towards the Conclave, which is the chantry, the religious power in the game's main place, cathedral, meeting point, to meet to discuss terms, because they are currently in a bit of a fracas. Right, let's start a new game. This episode will be going through the main parts of the character selection screen. In episode 2 we will move on to the character creation in itself, where I will show you how I create my own character and just describe a few of the controls there. The real action will get going on episode 3, so if you want to just start having a look at the actual battles and the fights and the storylines, please move on to that one. That will come quite soon after these two episodes. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It is a brand new channel. This is my first Let's Play. Please bear with me because it may be a bit rough, but I hope it will at least be a bit of a laugh. Okay, let's get started. Oh dear. Yes, the Conclave is destroyed. Now this is the first character creation scene where you select your race and appearance. You can either choose male or you can choose female, obviously, because in this game there are two genders, and not necessarily in real life. There are 4 races to choose from: human, elf, dwarf and Kunari, and I will briefly go over them and possible benefits and disadvantages. We'll start with a human, seeing as I am one. Humans are the most numerous and powerful race in Thedas. They're also the most divided politically and seem to thirst for conflict. Human characters receive a bonus ability point at the start of the game. Humans are very political and they seem to take sides very easily. They are very racist, as you may have heard from some of the comments of the game. They don't really like elves or dwarves or Kunari, or basically anyone who isn't human. It is useful to have a bonus ability point at the start of the game, because those are assigned to your weapons and are your strength and powers in the game. So it just gives you a bit of an advantage to start with. Obviously you can reassign points later in the game, but generally I would suggest sticking to in the next screen where you pick the class that you want to choose to the first weapon that you get given, just because it's a little bit easier when you start off. Elves are a historically oppressed people, distinguishable by their lithe frames and pointed ears. Though most survive in the poorest fringes of human cities, others live in nomads known as the Dalish. Elves receive a bonus of 25% to ranged defense. It's not really highlighted at this point, but there are kind of two types of elves: the city elves and the Dalish. This game focuses a lot more on the Dalish, whereas the last two games kind of had an even mix of both. The city elves obviously live in the city, in alienages, which are very poor parts of town traditionally. The Dalish are much freer and can be a little bit arrogant, obviously trying to keep their traditions alive. Range defense is very useful, I find. I do like having a lot of range defense, and also, as we'll see in a bit, magic defense if I can, because there are lots of things that can sneak up on you. If you have got an archer firing at you from a distance, it can do pretty heavy amount of damage. And also there are a lot of mages and lots of demons that have magic attacks that attack from afar. So it's a very useful thing to have. Dwarves. Dwarves are short, stocky, and most spend their entire lives underground. Those exiled to the surface are often merchants or smugglers. Because dwarves have no connection to the Fade, they cannot be mages, but receive a 25% bonus to magic defense. Surface dwarves are seen to be inferior to the underground dwarves who spend most of their time in their traditional cities. They can't be possessed by demons, at least as far as we know in the series, because they do not have the connection to the Fade that the other races have. The bonus to magic defense is a very, very useful thing. There are lots and lots of demons, and the main part of the storyline is the fracas between the mages and Templars, so there are also lots of mages in the game. The Kunari, these are a race of peoples that were kind of hinted at in the first Dragon Age Origins, in the presence of Sten, which is one of the companions in your party. In 2, they became a lot more widely available due to their invasion of Kirkwall, which is the main city that your storyline focuses on. In this one, they are a playable race for the very first time. The Kunari are a race of horned giants who follow a strict religious text known as the Qun. Those who have abandoned its principles are known as Tal the Shoth and often work as mercenaries. Kunari characters get a bonus of 10% physical damage resistance. 10% physical damage resistance is very, very useful. Obviously, especially if you are playing as a warrior or as a dual-wielding rogue. Obviously, close quarters, you do need a lot of physical defense against some of the tanks, particularly there's a couple of heavy-hitting kind of hammer or mace wielders that can do some hard hits. They generally tend to intimidate a lot of people. They're very tall for the most part. And many people don't like them because of the invasion in previous games and historically. I have played as a Kunari and a human before, so in this Let's Play I will be playing as an elf. Now this is the class screen, and there are 3 classes to choose from. There's a rogue, which is split into 2, a warrior, split into 2, and a mage. Generally, the selection that you choose out of these will determine the weapon that you start with. It is easiest to try and pick the weapon that you will want to continue throughout the game, only because in the beginning, when you have very few abilities assigned to your quick bar, it is obviously useful to have as many of those available for the weapon of choice as possible. You can reassign them later on in the game, but it's a bit of a faff if you suddenly want to change within the first few levels to a different weapon choice. You've then essentially wasted your skill points on the wrong weapon. So, rogues. Rogues are fighters who rely on speed and agility rather than heavy armour, using skill and an advantageous position on the battlefield to deal incredible damage. They may get up close and personal with daggers or strike from a distance with arrows. Dual wielding looks cool, very cool, but can be quite tricky. You need to be very stealthy, very quick, because they only have a light defence. They wear light armour, and well, not light armour, medium armour, sorry. And that doesn't always absorb a lot of hits. So being a dual-wielding rogue means that you are quite close quarters a lot of the time, so you don't have much weapon deflection, so you have to be quick. An archer, on the other hand, is a distance fighter, so you will at least be able to stay out in the majority of battle of groups. You can also have a few more area effect kind of skills than you can with the dual wielding, which will allow you to take down multiple enemies at once. So the medium armour in this one is less of a disadvantage than it is for the dual wielding rogue. The warriors, the Warriors are frontline combatants, able to withstand incredible punishment in heavy armour. They're proficient in the use of two-handed weapons like mauls and greatswords, but may combine a smaller weapon with a shield for added defence. I prefer two-handed, just out of personal choice. I find that the weapon and shield is quite replayed through fantasy games, very Arthurian, and I kind of like the area effect damage you get with a lot of hammers and axes that are available with the two-handed warrior. So yeah, because they have heavy armor, they can absorb a lot of hits when they're close range, so they don't get as damaged as easily as the dual wielding rogue does. And finally, the mage. Mages channel power into spells capable of a wide range of effects, from debilitating opponents, protecting allies, or unleashing devastating elemental energy, such as fire, ice, or storm, or lightning, whatever you want to call it. Those who wield magic are widely feared for their abilities, and their rebellion against Chantry control has left the land in chaos. You'll get a lot more information in the storyline regarding the controversiality of the mages. I don't even know whether that's a word, but I'm going to use it. And they can be possessed by demons. They have got connection to the Fade, which they need for their use of magic. The mages can be made tranquil, which will allow them to be protected, but it will also strip their magic from them, and also a good majority of their feeling and emotions to the world. There is a big divide between those who support mages and those who don't, leaning even to intense dislike even of the best mages, to a kind of fervent, overwhelming belief in the mages that kind of borders on obsession. So I will go for a mage because, frankly, it's quite interesting. You always get a good range of choices in the gameplay with it, because it's a bit more of a controversial character. Now, normally in the difficulty level I would select normal, but for this one I will actually select the casual, because I want to concentrate on the actual storyline of the game. BioWare is quite well known for its impressive storylines. The Bioshock series is highly regarded as a very, very enjoyable narrative to play through, and not just a kind of role-playing game. So yeah, for this one it may seem a bit easy to you guys. I do apologise for that, but there is quite a bit of grinding in some of the areas. You've got to get through a lot of enemies to complete many missions, and in order to focus on the actual parts of the story, it will be kind of required to get through those as quickly as possible. So yeah, casual it is. So my character summary. Enslaved long ago by humans, most elves still live as second-class citizens within human cities. Elves who reject this life are known as the Dalish, nomadic wanderers who strive to keep the ancient elven religion and traditions alive. You grew up in the wilderness, a member of the Lavalin Dalish clan, and apprenticed to its leader and guide, the Keeper. The clan wandered the northern free marches, and you had little need to interact with humans until the Keeper sent you to the Chantry's conclave as a spy. Oh dear. What happened there, she said, would impact not only on the Dalish, but indeed all elves. She could not have known how right she was. And of course, we now have a problem, seeing as the conclave is no longer in existence. Oh no! So in this game, which is different from the other two games, the Dragon Age Keep is available, which is an independent online area that will actually link with your console and your PC. It takes your choices and actions from your previous games and plops them into the history of this game, so that it will actually be referenced to throughout the storyline. Initially, I played the first two games, completed them on Xbox 360, but at the time my Xbox 360 had the Red Ring of Death, and I hadn't quite got the funds together for an Xbox One, so I went on to Dragon Age Keep anyway and uploaded the choices from my PC games, which, because I didn't get very far, didn't actually do a lot of them. I then realised that you can actually go back and reselect manually all the choices that you decide on throughout the series. So I went and did that and did all my kind of favourite options, and this is actually the first playthrough that I will do with those options applied, so we will see what difference it makes. I'll let you know if there are any major differences throughout this Let's Play. So, I will end this there for the very first episode. It's only a short one this time, because I will then go on to the character creation, which admittedly takes me quite a little while. As I said before, the real action will start in episode 3, and I will see you there after I have done this next episode. Please do like and subscribe again. It's a brand new series, brand new channel, and I hope to see more of you and you see more of me. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the comments threads and I will endeavour to respond as soon as possible. Okie dokie, see you later peeps, bye!